Humans are just a myth. That was what Admiral Kael'thar of the Varelian Dominion said as he watched the blue-green planet rotate slowly on the main holoscreen. The bridge of the flagship Ascendancy was quiet except for the steady hum of gravitic stabilizers and the soft clicking of data appendages tapping against crystalline consoles. Dozens of officers stood at their stations, scaled, furred, chitin-plated, or softly bioluminescent, each representing one of the many species folded into the Dominion. All eyes were fixed on the world labeled in ancient cartographic glyphs, Sol 3. Earth. Kael'thar adjusted his mantle cloak, its embedded rank sigils shimmering faintly. He was old by Varelian standards, his crest dulled by centuries of command. He had crushed rebellions, pacified border wars, and overseen the absorption of entire civilizations. Myths did not impress him. "Confirm again," he said, his voice resonant and calm. "No verified sightings in over 2 millennia? The intelligence officer, a slender Keth archivist with eyes like polished obsidian, inclined her head. "Confirmed, Admiral. The species known as humans vanished from all reliable galactic records approximately 2,300 standard cycles ago. No transmissions, no trade signatures, no verified vessels, only fragmented legends and contradictory accounts." Kael'thar allowed himself a faint, dismissive flick of his crest, as expected. A ripple of agreement moved across the bridge. Humans. The name carried an odd weight in old archives, a relic from a less enlightened age of the galaxy. Some records painted them as ferocious warriors who defied extinction, others described them as clever diplomats, builders of impossible machines, or reckless explorers who burned themselves out in their own ambition. None of it was consistent, none of it was reliable. Civilizations that mattered left ruins, technologies, or descendants behind. Humans left only stories. Dominion analysts classify them alongside other myth entities. Kael'thar continued, the Skyforgers of Helios, the void leviathans of Kar, the eternal architects, useful as cultural cautionary tales, nothing more. A junior officer hesitated, then spoke. "Admiral, there are still cultural taboos surrounding soul space. Several member species." Kael'thar cut him off with a single raised talon. "Fear survives longer than facts." He gestured toward the holoscreen. "Observe Earth, pre-warp civilization, fragmented governance, primitive orbital infrastructure, no planetary shield grid, no unified defense fleet." The tactical display confirmed it. A scattering of satellites, crude space stations, chemical and fusion propulsion signatures that would have been obsolete even to second-tier Dominion clients. "Hardly the legacy of galaxy-shaking demigods," Kael'thar said. The invasion plan unfolded with elegant simplicity. The Dominion would establish orbital superiority within minutes. Precision strikes would neutralize military command centers and energy hubs. Ground forces would secure population centers. The planet would be folded into the Dominion's expansion zone, its resources cataloged, its people pacified and re-educated. A routine operation. "Fleet, prepare for translation," Kael'thar ordered. "Let us put a final end to this ridiculous myth." Space folded. The Dominion fleet emerged above Earth in a blaze of controlled gravitic distortion, hundreds of vessels ranging from needle-shaped corvettes to continent-shadowing dread carriers. Their hulls gleamed with layered energy shields, weapons already charged. On Earth, alarms began to scream. Satellites detected the arrival seconds too late. Data streamed into human command centers around the globe, unidentified contacts, impossible energy readings, formations that defied known physics. In underground bunkers and orbital stations, human officers stared at their displays in stunned silence. "So," someone whispered, "they finally came." The Dominion wasted no time. Orbital defense platforms were targeted first. Brilliant lances of particle fire cut through the void, vaporizing outdated human satellites. A few platforms fired back, their railgun slugs and missile salvos splashing harmlessly against Dominion shields. Kael'thar watched the exchange with professional detachment. Predictable. Then something strange happened. Human transmissions began to flood the electromagnetic spectrum. Not panic screams. Not pleas. But coordination. Languages overlapped: English, Mandarin, Arabic, Russian, Hindi, then settled into a single standardized signal format. Encrypted, tight, purposeful. The communications officer frowned. "Admiral, the planet is broadcasting a unified command signal. That is unusual for a pre-warp species." Desperation breeds cooperation. Kaeldar replied, "Proceed." The Dominion fleet advanced. As they did, something shifted. Deep beneath Earth's crust, systems that had been dormant for centuries began to wake. Ancient reactors hummed to life, drawing power from sources the Dominion sensors did not immediately recognize. Cavernous chambers, sealed, forgotten, deliberately erased from human history, opened for the first time since the long silence. And in orbit, space itself seemed to ripple. "Admiral," the sensor chief said slowly, "I am detecting mass signatures. They were not present moments ago." Kaeldar turned. "Clarify." "Multiple contacts, high orbit, no standard propulsion trails, no energy spikes consistent with translation." The holoscreen updated. Shapes appeared. They were enormous. Long, angular silhouettes slid into visibility as if emerging from another layer of reality. Their hulls were matte black, swallowing light rather than reflecting it. No visible weapons, no glowing engines, just vast structures hanging in orbit with impossible stillness. The bridge fell silent. "Identify," Kaeldar ordered, a note of irritation creeping into his voice. "No match in Dominion databases," the intelligence officer said, "or in any Allied records." The ships did nothing. They simply watched. Then a single human transmission cut through the noise. "Clear, unencrypted. Come. This is Earth Defense Command," the voice said. It was human, but older somehow, layered with authority and restraint. "Unknown fleet, you have entered a restricted system." Kaeldar let out a low, almost amused exhale. "Restricted?" The voice continued. "You are advised to withdraw immediately." A murmur passed through the bridge. Kaeldar straightened. "Open a channel." The human face that appeared on the holoscreen was unremarkable: short hair, lined features, eyes that reflected the glow of unseen displays. Yet there was something unsettling in that gaze. Not fear. Recognition. "I am Admiral Kaeldar of the Verelian Dominion," Kaeldar announced. "Your planet has been designated for annexation. Stand down your defenses to avoid unnecessary loss of life." The human studied him for a moment. "Annexation," the human repeated. "Is that what you call it now?" Kaeldar's crest flicked. "You are in no position to negotiate." The human's lips curved, not into a smile, but something colder. "You still think that," he said. Behind him, unseen systems came fully online. The black ships moved. Not forward. Sideways. They slipped through space like blades through water, reappearing inside the Dominion formation without any detectable transition. No warning, no energy surge. One moment they were distant silhouettes, the next, they were among the fleet. "Red alert," someone shouted. Dominion weapons fired automatically. The shots vanished. Not deflected. Not absorbed. Simply, gone. The black ships responded with a single action. A wave pulsed outward, not energy, not radiation, not anything the sensors could name. It passed through Dominion vessels like a silent tide. Then ships began to fail. Shields collapsed. Reactors shut down. Command systems went dark. Entire cruisers drifted, lifeless, their crews alive but suddenly powerless. "What is happening?" Kaeldar demanded. The sensor chief's voice trembled. "Admiral, they are not destroying us, they are turning us off." One by one, Dominion vessels went inert. The flagship Ascendancy shuddered as systems flickered. Emergency power engaged just long enough for Kaeldar to remain conscious. The human on the screen was still there. "You called us a myth," he said quietly. "We worked very hard to earn that." Kaeldar stared, disbelief creeping into his ancient eyes. You are humans?" "Yes. But, you vanished." The human nodded. "We learned." The holoscreen shifted, showing images, archives pulled from deep time. Human colonies burning, fleets shattered, councils declaring humanity too dangerous, too unpredictable, too powerful to be allowed to exist. "We didn't lose," the human continued. "We left." Kaeldar felt something unfamiliar coil in his chest. Fear. "We realized that as long as we were visible," the human said, "the galaxy would never stop trying to either use us or erase us." The black ships loomed larger on the display. "So we did what myths do best," the human said. "We faded into stories." Kaeldar's voice was barely a whisper. All this time, we watched, The humans said, "We waited, we prepared, and we agreed on one thing." The human leaned closer to the camera. If anyone ever came to Earth again, they would leave with a lesson. The Dominion fleet was silent. Disabled. Helpless. Kaeldar straightened, summoning what dignity he could. "If you destroy us, the Dominion will retaliate." The human shook his head. "No, you will." A new data packet was transmitted. It contained instructions, routes home, systems restored just enough for travel, and a message embedded so deeply it would propagate through every Dominion network. A warning. "We are not conquering you," the human said. "We're reminding you." "Of what?" Kaeldar asked. The human's expression softened, just slightly. "Of why the galaxy invented the myth of humans in the first place." The black ships withdrew. One by one, Dominion systems came back online, limited, constrained, carefully controlled, enough to leave. Kaeldar watched Earth recede from view as the ascendancy limped away. For the first time in his long career, he did not feel defeated. He felt educated. Back in Dominion space, the story spread. Not as a military report. Not as a failure. But as a cautionary tale. And somewhere, on 1,000 worlds, young officers would one day. And somewhere, on 1,000 worlds, young officers would one day repeat an old phrase with a new tone of respect. "Humans are just a myth," they would say. And the wiser ones would answer, "Yes." They would pause, remembering disabled fleets drifting helplessly in foreign space, remembering systems that went dark without a single shot fired, remembering an invasion that ended before it truly began. And myths, they would add quietly, exist for a reason. Far away, beneath Earth's skies, the ancient guardians went dormant once more. The black ships faded back into the hidden layers of space where legends were born and buried. Human cities continued their daily rhythms. Children went to school, scientists argued, soldiers trained, farmers harvested. Life went on, as it always had. The galaxy would see none of it. And that was the point. Because as long as humanity remained a myth, Earth would remain untouched. And if the galaxy ever forgot again, the myth would remember.